Hello? Oh, hey, what's going on? Welcome to the Secret Restaurant Podcast. I will be your host for this journey through space and time. My name is Nate Hoyle. What's going on today? I'm sorry I left you guys on red for so long. I'm sorry that you guys have been just refreshing your feeds waiting for the Secret Restaurant Podcast to come out. And then, once you get things under contract, you have to do it professionally. It's kind of tough to do that, so I'm just going to power through it. I don't really want to do the podcast today, but I have to because it's my job. What's going on? Okay, so Breakfast 3 came out. Did I talk about this already? Anyway, I printed them, mailed them out. The last ones have been put in the mail. I think some of them are even arriving today. Whenever I mail out a magazine or a book or something, I like to picture them just like sailing like fighter jets across the sky. Just, you know how those old school fighter jets had like shark paint on them? Or they tried to paint them to look like scary, like they had teeth of a shark. How cool did that look when you were a kid? How terrifying did that probably look when you were an adult, when they were flying at you? That's a great point, Nate. Okay. Yeah, they should be arriving for the most part. I had to send one to England, which is exciting. I was trying to remember all the places I've sent books that weren't in the United States. It's not that many, but it's probably like 4 or 5. I sent one to France. I sent one... you got to understand before you get mad at me, I've never been outside the United States. And so I think I sent one... It was somewhere in Asia, but I'm not going to guess. Because I can't remember. I could probably look up in my messages to see where I sent that. And then I think I sent one to Ireland too. I should have been keeping track. It's not that many. It's like maybe 5 places that aren't in the U.S. So that's kind of cool to think that my books are out there. My books. The books that I print that have other people in them. They're out there. Maybe that fighter jet analogy wasn't the best analogy now. My bad, gang. Nate's getting canceled. All right, what else? Do I have more to say about Breakfast 3? Except thank you to everyone who was in it, included in it. Thanks to Evan who formatted it. Thanks to Justin for the cover art. I took a picture of all of my publications of periodicals that I put out, which is now 7. So it was 4 pizzas and 3 breakfasts. And Justin did the cover art for all of them. And it's pretty cool to look at all of them all together and see over the past. It must be 2 years now since the first one came out. I don't know. Something like that. Something around there, maybe. So yeah, if you're interested in ordering that, you can go on our eBay shop. And actually, I did search Breakfast 3 and Breakfast 3 magazine in eBay, and it actually showed up. So that's cool. Because, one of the challenging things about the internet and marketing on the internet or selling things on the internet is like it's not guaranteed that your page will be findable. And it was. So there you go. You can search on eBay Breakfast 3 magazine would make it definitely show up. And then if you go on our Instagram, you can click at the link and you'll find it that way too. I had a short story come out. I think that the last time I spoke to you guys, I had it accepted, but I didn't announce where it was. So it's called Slash Magazine. They do both print and online publications. Mine is online, so lucky for you, you can read the whole thing if you want to. It's called The Buzzing of Melbourne Ritz. And it's about a dude who goes into a barbershop that he's never been into. And then it's not what he seems in there, or it's not what it seems in there. Maybe I'll read something at the end of this podcast. I kind of wanted to just to hear myself read it. I'm proud of it. You can check it out. It's linked on my website, natehoyle.com. Is this just all promotion today? Self-promotion? We haven't even gotten to my ads yet. All right, let's talk about something fun for once. Let's talk about something other than just publishing and the published. The published and the publishing and the publisher and the publication. You ever like look at a banana? You ever see a banana and it like looks like it's perfectly yellow and everything, and you're like, oh, nice. And then you go to reach it, and then it's just like you pick it up and it feels like it's filled with water. Like behind the peel is just it's a smoothie inside of it, and your thumb just sinks in there, and you're like, oh God. But you don't have any other healthy things to eat, and you need to eat something healthy. And so, to your terror, I've been on my horror kick. This is my horror story for the day. It's like a person that's like, they've been looking forward to eating something healthy, and they're trying to like, take care of themselves. They're not eating chips. They're not eating like cookies and all that. And so there's one banana left. There's only one banana left. And so it looks good, and then they go to reach for it, and then it's just like the peel just like sinks when they put their hand around it, and it feels like it's like filled with a smoothie instead of banana. But they have no choice but to eat it. As one might guess, they do not have the courage at first. They have to step away from their kitchen and go in the other room, and they realize they've begun to perspire, like sweat is dripping, and their whole life has changed in a matter of seconds. And unfortunately, they're in denial first. What are the stages of grief? Anger, denial, anger, bargaining, depression, acceptance. All right, so first it's denial, and they're like, hey, maybe there's something wrong with my hand. Maybe it's not the banana that feels weird. Or no, here's what it's like. Maybe it's just part of the banana. It's like they're holding it by the bottom part, and that's the part that's squishy. And they're like, well, maybe it's like the rest of it is okay. But then they like feel the rest of it, and the whole thing, it just like the peel just like bends in with their hand. And so then they get angry. Then they stomp out of the kitchen, and they're so mad they can't even think straight. And this goes on maybe for a period of time. He calls someone. He's so mad, and he's like, oh, actually, I don't want to do this. All right, so he's mad. He calls someone. He yells at him. Ruins that relationship. Goes back, and then he starts to bargain. Why am I doing this? He bargains with the banana. The banana looks back at him, and he's like, maybe I could put it in the freezer. Maybe I could freeze it back into a solid state. And then there's a commercial break. I did go back to a movie theater. I was trying to remember the last time I went to a movie in theaters. And I think it might have been Train Dreams. Or perhaps... it's been a minute regardless. And it was like last summer too. Last summer I went to like a bunch of them. But anyway, I went to one that is making waves. It's called Obsession. And people have been talking about it. People have been praising it. People have been going to see it. And it's a scary movie. It's basically like this dude, he like has a crush on a girl, and so he has this thing where he can have a wish granted from this novelty shop. He gets this thing that allows him one wish, and he wishes that she was, like, I think he says, like, more in love with him than anyone else. And then she actually becomes too obsessed with him, and then it becomes a horror movie. It's like, it sounds pretty mild when you describe the plot, but it's actually like there's gore and it's shocking. It's like a straight up horror movie. Really liked it. I was not expecting them to go where they went with it, because it kind of starts lighthearted, like it could have been a buddy comedy, a friends comedy. It starts that way, and then very quickly, it turns into like The Exorcist shit, which I guess that would be parallel, because it's like it's like she has a curse on her, basically. He basically put a curse on the woman that he was supposed to love, is what happened. So yeah, I would recommend it for sure. I think it's only in theaters now. I was impressed with all the acting, but the girl who gets cursed, it was pretty amazing to watch. She does a lot with like her facial expressions throughout it, and she has like her character has like mood swings that are like extreme mood swings, and then even like down to the way that she like begins to move on the set when she's like possessed. It's like really crazy. I wonder if she'll get nominated for something, because it was pretty mesmerizing to watch. But all the acting was good. The main dude was good. The dialogues were good. The characters all had like natural dialogues and whatnot. So I'm definitely glad I went to see it. Yeah, I think we are in the era now. Maybe this is bold to say, but I think we're in an era now where like actresses are like they're like doing crazy shit with like body horror, or like just they're acting in an insane way. And it's been, what made me think of that is I can't remember the actress's name who is the lead in Obsession. I can't remember her name, but I remember reading that she was influenced by Mia Goth, or is that how you say her name? Anyway, in that kind of Pearl series, or that trilogy. And I was just thinking now, actually, another movie that kind of I had similar feelings about, playing insanity, doing like body horror, or like making facial expressions and movements of an insane person. I was thinking about Frankenstein, and like I feel like Mia Goth's like kind of body horror in that film almost outshined Frankenstein, I would say. I kind of had beef with Frankenstein where he was supposed to be this outcast, and it didn't really feel that way. He was sort of just like running around with like paint on his face. I didn't feel like he was a monster, quote unquote, which he was supposed to be the monster. But then I felt like other characters in that movie, particularly, I don't know if it's Mia or Maya Goth, but like I remember her performance like being very striking with what she was doing, like just as a whole, of like movements and being grotesque and shit. So I thought it was interesting to have like that her influence in another movie that was like really kind of stunning like that, kind of shocking like that in a grotesque way. I'm always accidentally calling Frankenstein, or I'm always accidentally calling the monster Frankenstein, which I know is a common thing, but I'm supposed to know better being a man of literature. But I was talking about the monster was underwhelming in Frankenstein. Frankenstein's monster was underwhelming. I didn't feel like he was an outcast at all, especially since he started out like being built out of body parts, and the first half of that movie was like basically gore, putting limbs together, and then like once he comes together, it's just like a dude with like paint. All right, that's enough. But and then I just thought of another one. Emma Stone's kind of a similar way. She's in like a heyday now, especially with like Poor Things, and those kind of, she was working with that one director for a series of movies that I don't know his name, and I can't really remember the names of the other movies, but she in Poor Things especially, there was a lot of like body horror and oddities of like acting physically in a way that isn't necessarily traditionally Hollywood beautiful or Hollywood. Sure, nobody wants to hear me talk about this. Nobody wants my opinion on it. But I do have a book to talk about. Let's talk about books. Started a new one. I think my new thing is if a book is out of print and then it goes back in print on like one of these classic series, I'm going to try and check it out. So the author is named Robert Coover, who passed away in 2024. And he's someone that had been on my list for a long time because he's supposed to be like a really important experimental writer, postmodernist writer. And I wanted to read this one in specific because it's about baseball, but it was out of print until literally this spring. But Robert Coover also was born in Charles City, Iowa, which I actually have. My family tree goes back to that area, which is kind of cool. He was born in 1932. So there is a chance that he was there when my family members were there in that small town in Iowa. But then he ended up moving to Chicago and had a career living for 90 plus years, writing and living in Iowa. I don't know where he lived. Chicago, apparently, and teaching and whatnot. But this book is called The Universal Baseball Association Incorporation of J. Henry Waugh, PROP. I don't know what that's an abbreviation for. But the shorter version of the book title on the spine is just the Universal Baseball Association Incorporation, or INC. Let me tell you what it's about. So it was published in 1968. It's basically about this guy. He invents this dice game that recreates baseball. And so it's he invents all of it, but it's he creates this league where he basically just rolls dice for 9 plus inning baseball games. And he becomes so obsessed with it that the characters basically come to life in his mind. So I'm reading the back, and so it says his fictional, or it's not fictional, but his baseball team that he's the sole proprietor of and he invented, it's in its 56th season. And so that just proves how much he's been playing it. But it's cool because he invents the whole world. He invents the players' names, the players' histories. And it's actually kind of funny because one of the characters he talks about in the opening chapter, he was a player who also his father, his fictional father, played in the league before him. So that just proves how long this dude's been rolling dice and inventing stories of a fake baseball league. But it's cool because it's kind of, it blends his reality. It shows him in his apartment, going to bars, going to work. But the whole time he's thinking about this fictional baseball league that he invented, and he's already been playing for who knows, I guess maybe 50 years. Or I don't know how long, if his seasons are just 1 year at a time or what. But kind of juggle the characters is difficult. But so let me explain what kind of the chapters so far have been because I've only read 50 pages, and it's a 200 something page book. But basically it's it shows the dude, main character, I'll call him Henry because that's what he's called in the book. He's existing in the world. But the chapters, it's third person. The chapters are always kind of diving into his own thoughts, even in a exclamatory way. The way he's thinking, it'll have exclamations or it'll have ponderings. I can't think of a better word for it. Where it goes really close into his third person brain, where it's almost it could be first person, but it's still third person, if that makes sense. And then it's also, he's constantly thinking about these characters and their stats that are basically just from him rolling dice. But they're so real in his mind, he thinks about it as if it's real people. And so he's got his favorite, the one character that he's the biggest fan of now is this pitcher, and he's kind of obsessed with this pitcher. There's other players too. And even when he's at work or at a bar, he's still thinking about these fictional baseball players that he invented. So it is a lot of reading about stats or reading about baseball. The opening scene is kind of told in a way that he's playing the game, but it's not he's standing over the table rolling dice. It tells it the players are actually playing. And then it has him in his apartment, and he's drinking beers, and he goes down and gets a sandwich and stuff. So it kind of blends, it tells it these players are real. But then it's also making you fully aware that they're just a part of a dice game. The prose of it is cool too. I felt when I first started reading it on the first page even, there's a lot of momentum with the sentences. And I thought maybe it was trying to recreate actual sports announcers, especially not really TV announcers because there's a lot more space in that, but maybe an announcer that would be on a radio broadcast of a baseball game. It's the first sentence is bottom half of the seventh, Brock's boy had made it through another inning unscratched. And it's 1, 2, 3, 3 outs. So it's kind of almost emulating a broadcast or the momentum of narrating a baseball game. But yeah, I'm glad I didn't order it when it was out of print. Because, like I mentioned, I was kind of trying to figure out how to write about baseball. Because I was working on a novel that I've kind of put aside for a while now. But I'm glad I didn't order it out of print because at a minimum, I probably would have dropped 40 or 50 bucks on it. And then this book, I think it was released maybe in April even. Like it was just released through New York Review of Books. I think that's NYRB. It was released as a classic reprint. So I went to Barnes & Noble and I found it instead of ordering it on eBay for like a old ripped up copy of one of the few remaining available online. I'll keep reading it, let you know. It's overdue that I should have read Robert Coover. I do remember reading him in the New Yorker. Like he had a story in the New Yorker. This was probably over 10 years ago or 10 or 9 years ago. And I enjoyed it. And so he was always on my mind to read more, but I just never did. So this has been a fun one. I honestly have been enjoying it a lot. I'm not even joking, guys. I don't know how else to convince you. I don't know why you don't believe me just at face value, but I've been really, really enjoying this book. Okay. I think that's it for today because people started mowing outside and I was going to read an excerpt from that story, but I have to like reread stuff and edit stuff and it'll probably sound weird with a mower going. So I'll talk to you guys later. It's good to see you. Good to see you. You guys take care of yourselves. All right. Good morning.